Welcome, and thanks again for joining me on the Gamut of Performance podcast, episode 2. Today I talked to Ethan Reeve from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Ethan has been coaching longer than most listeners have been alive, and is also the CSCCa president. It's a great honor to be able to speak with him today, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Reeve. Coach Reeve, thanks for being on with us today. Really excited to have you on. So for some of the listeners that don't quite know who you are, will you just kind of tell us a little bit of your background and how you got into the profession and why?
I mean, of course, I was an athlete of a lot of different sports up through junior high school. We didn't start sports till about the 7th grade.
Okay.
So I did a lot of different sports, and then I really took hold of wrestling. Wrestling was my thing, and of course, you need to be strong to be a wrestler.
Most definitely.
So I was always finding ways to get stronger, but my career started basically as a wrestling coach.
Okay.
I actually coached wrestling for about 13 years.
Interesting.
But when I did that, I also worked as a strength coach for wrestlers, like at Oklahoma State, Clemson, Ohio University, University of Tennessee. And then when I got my head coaching position at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, I was the strength coach and the wrestling coach as well.
Okay.
It was about 28 years ago I got to where I was just doing strength conditioning.
Yeah.
But I'd done strength conditioning again with wrestlers all the way through.
Wow, 28 years. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my 41st year of coaching. I just completed my 41st year. So.
Okay, congratulations, Coach. That's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll tell you, I wouldn't change it. I'd probably do this till I die. So.
Yeah. No, that's awesome to hear because, a lot of people, I mean, everyone says it, right? But a lot of people that start strength coaches don't retire strength coaches. So that's super cool.
Yeah, that's a problem in our profession.
Yeah.
Look, it's a good gig.
Yeah.
And you got it.
Yeah.
You get the right coaches, the right people, the right university. It's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for people to stay in the business. And they need to go elsewhere and do other things. So that's a tough thing. That's something we're looking at with our CSCCa right now.
No, that's good. And that's kind of a great segue. So how did you end up getting involved with the CSCCa?
Well, about 25 met. 25 of us strength coaches, we met in Las Vegas. That was back probably in 1999. Okay. And we were really concerned about the direction we were going with strength and conditioning, as we are today. We're trying to make it better and everything. The intent was never to start out and have a certification or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. The big thing was to have coaches come together, share ideas. What can you do? What can we do to help each other get better? Because look, you work with a certain team, and another coach from another university has similar situations. Yeah. They maybe have some advice. What do you do? How are you doing? What are you doing with this coach? How are you doing with this administrator? Yeah. So there's a way for us to always get together. And if you go to the conference, you'll get a lot of that still. People sitting in the lobby, going out to dinner, in rooms, in the vendor's hall. And it's great, not just for speakers, but for coaches getting together. That's really where a lot of the best knowledge is shared.
Definitely, yeah. That's what you always hear, right? It's not at the conference; it's after the conference, right?
Yeah, and then we mainly one that was started because the NSCA was telling administrators, our athletic administrators, the university, that they should only hire people that are certified CSCS. And if you'd gone to a conference back in the 1990s, you'd find out that you'd go to this conference and it was mainly it was like personal trainers, chiropractors, massage therapists, everybody, but you didn't see as many of the strength coaches there. Yeah. And we wanted to try to have something. And look, we're not against it. We love the NSCA. And I think they serve a great purpose.
Definitely.
They have a great journal and great science and stuff. We love that. Yeah. But we were trying to find something that could be pure to a strength coach and its needs. That person's needs. So that's really how it all got started. Okay. And a lot of our first conferences, they were small. And they were in Salt Lake City. Okay. Because that's where Chuck Stiggins lives. He lives in Provo.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. And you're, for those of the listeners that don't know, right? You're president of NSC or the CSCCa, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So humble. He acts like he's not a big deal. I love that.
Well, look, I've been on the board of directors for a while.
Okay.
And Chuck called me. I was actually driving to California with my son.
Yeah.
And he calls me up and he says, "Look, it was after our conference."
Uh-huh.
He said, "You have been nominated to be the president of the NSCA. I mean the CSCCa, excuse me." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Would you accept it if you were voted in?" I go, "Chuck, do you think this is what's best for our for our organization?"
Yeah.
And with me, I've always been kind of low key.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to be that way, just like a lot of strength coaches. We like to work in the room with kids, things like that. I said, but if it's important and you think it's going to help our organization, I'll take it.
That's
so
awesome.
they voted me in.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, I found out, and that's what it's been for the last 2 years. So
that's awesome.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But my thing is to get the speakers for our national conference, to talk with people, and to do this what we're doing here.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And kind of one of the things, right? So that you touched on, right? You guys want to make the strength conditioning better, right? So can you speak on a little bit? I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of how the troubles of making strength and conditioning better with all the like compartmentalization with like different teams and stuff like that. Like everyone wants their own guy, right?
Yeah, that's kind of an issue, and we are concerned about the future. What happens to the former strength coaches? We're hoping that maybe they can move into directors' positions.
Yeah.
Maybe into administrators, associate athletic directors, assistant athletic directors, and overseeing the departments. And maybe an old strength coach isn't really a strength coach anymore, but he oversees and he evaluates and stuff. Mm-hmm. But what is concerning with us, although it does present more jobs, is that we become so siloed or compartmentalized that there are jobs for a men's tennis strength coach, or a women's tennis strength coach, or a wrestling strength coach. And we like the idea, as long as those salaries are good. The problem that we see in it is that when you make that career move, that's what you do, sometimes you're pigeonholed.
Definitely.
And how do you get out of that? Now, you're only going to be the wrestling strength coach somewhere.
Yeah.
And how do you get to where you can be a strength coach with other sports? And that is concerning for us right now.
I agree. Oh, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say, when the CSCCa, we decided, look, we need to have our own certification. That was never our intent back in 1999. But then we also need to make sure it was accredited. So we go to great lengths to we spend a lot of money to make this accredited. And it is a great certification. I mean, it's the best in the world for strength and conditioning coaches to get. So that's why we want to give every one of those strength coaches that are SCCC certified the best chance, and we want to give them a good certification, and that's really the purpose of that's one of the purposes of our organization. But if you go to the conference, you're still going to see coaches sitting around talking. To the bull, asking questions about certain, or like we were there Monday night talking with Joey Batson from Clemson. And I had two our assistant strength coaches and myself were sitting there, and they were asking questions of Joey. He's been in it a long time. That's what you want to do. You want to have that, and we want to make it open so all these great strength coaches are out there. You're amongst all these other younger strength coaches. Well, go up and ask questions. See if they've got a couple minutes. Talk to them. Don't be afraid. Ask questions. They will be willing to share, because you know what? They did it as well.
Definitely.
I've done it as well. I picked the brains of everybody. So.
No, that's awesome, and that's one of the things I've been able to see, right? So last year was my first conference, and I wasn't really sure if people were willing to talk, and I was kind of quieter. But this year, I've been around it for a while, and everyone's willing to talk and meet each other and talk about, training, life, like everything. So it's just a really great experience, and I've taken a lot from it. So we thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Well, early on when when I was at Ohio University, we had like 650, 700 athletes. And it was me and a GA. And the GA quit on me mid-year.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was a lot of work. We used to work from 5 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night, and you're working every hour. And it was tough. It's tough on families. It's tough.
Definitely.
it's better today.
Yeah.
The working conditions are better. I mean, if
I
we're
agree.
smart, you'll get time where you can go for a longer lunch and you have a lot of free time with that stuff. But we're trying to make it better.
Yeah.
We're hoping it's getting better. Sometimes it's just evolving. I don't know that we're doing much. It's just kind of going that direction.
Yeah.
You have a lot of sport coaches that want their own strength coach.
Yeah.
And we're becoming like a trainer is to the sport team.
Yeah.
But we're on the sports performance side of that.
Definitely.
So.
Awesome. And kind of moving forward, right? So one of the first times that we talked and met was I just wanted to find out your approach to training athletes, right? I've heard a lot of good things about it. So could you just kind of speak on your approach to training like athletes, not just wrestlers, but athletes in general, and your implementation of like that low-level tumbling?
Yes. Well, I mean, the big thing, Juan, is to you're working with athletes.
Definitely.
And if you can give a sport coach a better athlete, then that person's going to be a better basketball player, a better wrestler, better tennis player, golfer, whatever. So the thing is to key in on being athletic. So what can I do to make them athletic? Obviously, strength is important. Power, all these different things, speed, all these things are very important. But there are other things in there, so the tumbling for your kinesthetic and spatial awareness is very important as well.
Yeah.
I have found that when we do the low-level tumbling, things like forward rolls and backward rolls and diving rolls and split rolls forward and backward and cartwheels and crab crawls and bear crawls, I find that when they get to where they're not dizzy for doing it, or grabbing sky hooks, when they're doing it, then automatically they're better athletes. And they're better athletes, they're going to be a better wrestler, or a better basketball player. Yeah. And so that started for me. I don't know if you know about physical education, but physical education, it used to be, I am low on battery here.
Okay. No worries.
Anyway, can you see me still?
Yeah, we're all set.
Okay.
Perfect.
We started that in physical education. And in physical education, we would do tumbling pretty much every day.
Yeah.
We had horsehair mats covered with canvas.
Okay.
And then wrestling, when you got into wrestling, we did a lot of tumbling with wrestling.
Okay.
And I've always done tumbling with my wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I found out the results. I mean, kids became better athletes when we did it. The wrestlers did. Okay. So if they're better athletes, they're going to be better wrestlers.
Yeah.
But what happens is you have that fluid inside your ears. And when you do like a forward roll or cartwheel or whatever, you get that all jumbled up. And what happens is when you get to where you can do that, first of all, when you do that, you get disoriented.
Yeah.
Some people even get nauseous.
Yeah.
When you start doing it. But the beauty of tumbling is it's a great way to warm up. Man, you get ankle flexibility, knee flexibility, hips and back and shoulders and elbows. You get very flexible and athletic when you do it. Yeah. It's a great warm-up, but you also work on that vision, kinesthetic and spatial awareness, peripheral vision.
And that's huge.
Everything becomes better. Yeah. And that's why I personally think if I was a volleyball coach, I would do tumbling every day. Yeah. I'd spend about 4 or 5 minutes. It doesn't take very long, but spend the time doing it. It's worth doing it.
I agree. And I'm speaking from experience. I tried it out first couple times, and the world was spinning, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. Yeah.
Well, look, I have a philosophy with training you, because you asked one of I use the 25, 50, 25 rule. Okay. And that is, whether it's a sport practice or a strength and conditioning workout, I spend about 25% of the time warming up. Okay. And I want to make sure it's dynamic, athletic type warm up. I think it's very important to be athletic when you do things. Yeah. And to properly train the nervous system and everything to get ready for sport practice. And then 50% is what everybody should do. Yeah. I mean, whether it's a power clean or a hang clean or a snatch, deep front squats or lunges or standing presses or anything like that, whether it's kettlebells or whatever you pick up, you want to do that. And so those are the major things that you should be working on, compound type lifts. Okay. And then you spend about 25% of the time working on sport-specific or position-specific type things.
Okay.
Like with wrestlers, I need to spend more time doing chins and dips.
Yeah.
Because of back pressure and hand control with wrestling and chin-ups, you need for a lot of pulling exercises for your wrestlers.
No, that's great.
Yeah. But within that, you always want to make sure you work on the rotational or static holding, the rotation of the core body.
Okay.
With your squatting movements and pressing movements and pulling movements and stuff. So.
No, that's good because a lot of young coaches, right? They don't really have a philosophy. They just kind of throw it, see what sticks, right? And you've probably seen it a bunch of times, and so that's good to have like a set philosophy. I really like that. And kind of
that's one thing I'd really recommend to make sure study different philosophies out there and come up with your philosophy, and then don't be afraid to tweak it over time. It takes look in wrestling. A lot of this core came from wrestling because our big thing was from the mid thighs to the rib cage. Yeah. Either your hip flexors, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes, your erectors, your low back, your abdominals, your obliques. That was what we considered. We called everything. Everything is in the hips. Yeah. Everything's in the hips. And then we started calling that center body. Well, someone started coming up with this thing called core. Yeah. And so if you look at my philosophy through the years from 1970s on through, it started out like that, and it worked into where I was calling it a core as well. Yeah. But you have to learn to tweak things and change things. Don't be afraid to do that.
No, that's good.
We're all evolving.
Yeah, that's huge, especially for, like I said, a lot of young coaches get stuck in one thing, right? They see the next cool thing, and they're like, this is what I have to do, regardless of the situation. So that's important, that adaptability. So kind of with that notion of young coaches, right? Everyone wants to be a strength coach, right? But as soon as they come in against some like friction and they kind of realize like how tough it is, then they kind of fizzle out. So what are some strategies that you have used to say keep your sanity in the tough world of strength and conditioning? When things aren't the easiest.
Well, I mean, look, I come from education. My mother was an educator. My degree is in education. My wife is a teacher. Okay, was a teacher. And what you do is it's about the kids. Yeah. Look, when you compete, when you were competing, you were in the limelight. Yeah. Everything was shining on you, and that's the way it should be. As a sport coach, you step off and you let the kids shine. As a strength coach, you're even further back. Yeah. But I like that. I like being behind the scenes because you win in the rooms. Definitely. You win in the practice room. Yeah. You win in the weight room. That's where you really win because that's where they've got to spend their time so that when they go out to compete, now they can shine. Hopefully they're shining when they're winning. Yeah. But if you think about that it's about the kids first, that's what keeps you going. And that's what we do. I mean, that's why when I get out of this, I retire, I'll still go and try to help some young coaches or some young kids at some local high school or whatever. Yeah. Just because you want to help. What can I do to help? Anything that I can do to help.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great stuff. I love it. So what's one thing or two things that you felt like would have really helped you to know when you were first starting as a young strength coach?
Well, I would say that probably the most important thing, look, you've got a philosophy, you've got principles, but remember that you're going to be working collaboration with a sport coach. And so that sport coach, like when I get here, I'm going to go visit with the sport coach from University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, the women's tennis, and I'm going to be working with the women's tennis players. Okay. He's got a philosophy. I need to know what his philosophy is, how he disciplines, how he works, how he runs practice, what are his principles and strategies and tactics in a match, in practice and in matches. What is he about? Yeah. And then ask him what he likes and what he doesn't like. We want to periodize together. We want to work together. So it's a collaboration working together. Yeah. You see? Yeah. So I might have to adjust some things that I do to get him to come around. And then eventually I'll figure out how I'm going to meld and then help make it better for him. So that he wins, so that we can also maximize the athletic potential of every one of the tennis players that we're going to be working with. But it has to be us as one. So that when the kids come to the weight room, he's going to know that workout. He knows what's behind it. Mm-hmm. We're expecting them to do this because we want to win. There are a lot of times you go in the weight room. Look, I'll be honest, one of the best things for developing mental toughness, we did this a lot when I was growing up. I don't know that I ever agreed with my coaches on warm-ups, content of this drill or that drill.
Yeah.
But you know what? You did it.
Yeah.
And you fought through it. That makes you tougher. That makes you learn to work through adversity. Learn to do some things that you may not like to do. Because look, one of these days, you're going to be changing a diaper. You may not like to change. You're going to have to watch Dancing with the Stars on Monday night with your wife.
Yeah.
You may not want to do it, but you do it. You have to learn to work through those things.
Yeah.
And that's some things that athletes need to do as well.
Yeah.
It can't always be, I want to go in and have fun.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to pay a price.
Yeah.
If you want to get your hand raised.
Definitely.
Definitely. If you want to get a gold medal around your neck,
yeah.
you're going to have to pay a price. And it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So my thing is, we need to stand together with that coach and work with him. So he's on board with it. So we go together.
Okay. That's huge.
That's one thing that I think you need to start with that.
Yeah.
Having a philosophy is very important.
Yeah.
And sticking with that philosophy.
Definitely. And I think you touched on two great things that I just want to elaborate on a little bit more, right? So you talked on dealing with the sport coach, right? So where's that line of you giving stuff up in favor of what the sport coach wants and you kind of holding your position, right? Does that make sense?
Well, it comes to, again, the welfare of the athlete.
Yeah.
You have to stand your ground if it's going to hurt the athlete.
Yeah. Okay.
I can understand you. Look, we all been through it. Another sprint or another gasser or another whatever. And sometimes those things work on mental toughness.
Yeah.
But for the most part, kids shouldn't walk away from workouts where they have to crawl out of the weight room.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that every day.
Yeah.
You want to get them a good lather. They need to get something. They need to be better when they leave than when they came in. Maybe they're more flexible and maybe they're stronger, more powerful. They jump higher, run faster.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. We need to help them get there. But if it comes to the welfare of the athlete, that's where you've got to stay in your ground. Okay. And that means that even if you have to go to an administrator, we just can't do those kind of things.
Definitely.
And that's happened now.
Yeah.
I feel bad for some strength coaches, because they try to change the culture.
Yeah.
How do you change the culture? Here's how you change the culture.
That's a great question. Yeah.
Be a good strength coach.
Yeah.
Be a good ambassador. You want your kids to give great effort when they compete and when they're lifting and when they're doing stuff, but you also want them to be good kids outside.
Yeah,
you know what?
That's huge.
Then be a good human being. Treat everybody like they're human beings, whether they're janitors, administrators, or whatever. You've got to make sure you do your part to treat other people. Smile. Be kind. Be nice. Be a good ambassador for our profession. But also as a role model to athletes.
No, it's amazing the amount of strength coaches that are afraid of smiling, right? Like you see it all the time. Everyone wants to mean mug and look so tough, but it's like, why? We're dealing with kids every day who love smiling, right? So that's
look. You get up every morning.
Yeah.
I've done this since I was 16 years of age.
Yeah.
You get up every morning. You put your feet on the ground. Now, as they get older, the bones creak a little bit more sometimes.
Yeah.
But you say to yourself, "Today is a great day."
Yeah.
You're grateful for this day. There's a day. This day's in front of you.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, you've got another day to do something, to live. So what do? You smile.
Yeah.
You get a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, a glass of water, you have bread, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything you're doing, be happy that you're alive.
Yeah.
Because you've got another day to make a difference.
Exactly.
And the thing is, we're in a profession where we get a chance to make a difference in an athlete's life.
Yes. Yes,
and if we can do that, then we're making a difference. We're changing. We're helping others.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, in my opinion, for a strength coach. It's not about you as a strength coach. It's about what you can do for your athletes to help them get better.
That's
and
great.
One thing that I would recommend is make sure if you're a strength coach for an Olympic sport, don't just show up for football games. If they're home games and you're working with those teams, get there and watch those kids compete.
Yes,
if you get a chance to travel, every once in a while you get a chance, go with them. Be a part of it.
Yeah.
They appreciate it. The sport coach appreciates it.
Yeah.
You're part of that team.
That's good. That's good. Kind of along on that same lines, right? What's your stance of doing, say, sports specific? A lot of coaches like, oh, I've seen this drill, like let's do it sports specific. What's your stance on that versus, your training philosophy, or how does that meld together?
Well, so people have asked me, well, what about conditioning? I would tell you that I think that one of the best conditioning is to practice the skill of sport repetitively over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Almost ad nauseum. You've got to do it. But you have to build rest periods in between so they're optimal reps when you do them.
Yeah.
My thing is you want the most important thing you can do to make a difference in an athlete and the most sports specific is the drilling of technique.
Yeah.
You've got to drill the technique. If you're a triple option football team, then you may have to get 100 to 120 reps every practice.
Yeah.
You've got to run those reps.
Okay.
Because you've got to be so good at it, even if they know what's happening, they can't stop it.
Yeah, yeah.
You're so good at blocking, so good at tackling, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So the most sports specific is that. My opinion is you build the athlete. Just build a general athlete. Let me explain this. Let's say that we had 10 sport coaches at a high school, 10 different sports.
Yeah.
And you had 100 athletes, and you put the 100 athletes on the wall, and you numbered them 1 through 100. So number 1's the best, number 100 is the worst athlete.
Okay.
And you put a hat, and you put 10 numbers in the hat. And everybody came in, all the coaches came in, and they got to pick numbers 1 through 10.
Yeah.
So they would get 10 athletes. Let's say the men's golf coach came in and he said, picked a number, and his number was 1.
Yeah.
He would get to pick his 10 athletes. What does he do? He doesn't go over to 91 through 100.
Yeah.
He goes to 1 through 10.
Yeah.
He says, I want the best athletes.
Yeah.
I'll teach them how to golf.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And so my thing is work on them being athletic.
Yeah.
While you're getting them stronger, don't forget plyometrics and the tumbling and anything, medicine balls, hurdle drills, anything you can to make them more athletic.
Okay.
Do it. Speed, agility, quickness.
Yeah.
If the kids, the only reason it's sports specific a lot of times is you're thinking, okay, I want these guys to do something where they're thinking this is for this team.
Yeah.
This is for, but for the most part, squatting is big.
Yeah.
Any kind of pulling exercises, snatches, your Olympic list, whether it's a kettlebell or a sandball or an Olympic bar.
Yeah.
You need to move the bar fast, do an explosive lifts.
Definitely.
I think deep squatting is one of the things I really like with either 2 legs or 1 leg.
Okay.
Things like that, pressing and pulling. Yeah. And then some kind of torquing.
Okay.
With the core.
Yeah.
So sport specific, I just don't do as much of it. Yeah. Except to maybe make the coaches and the kids feel like we're doing something different.
Yeah. No, I like that. And then one of the other things that I wanted to touch on, right? You touched on mental toughness, right? So, that's a big topic. A lot of people are presenting on it, but nobody really knows what it is. So, how do you define it? How do you train it? What do you think?
Well, look, if you get, let's say, because when I coached wrestling, you bring freshmen in. Yeah. And the 17, 18-year-old kid is going to wrestle with a 22, 23-year-old. Yeah. I can tell you how that's going to come out. It's best maybe not to put him in that situation at maybe even the first semester. You've got to gradually get them tougher. Yeah. You've got to put more and more adversity on them. So at first, you're trying to be positive with them, trying to get them through hard times. You're trying to always be positive. You're coaching, you're teaching them. You're with them all the time, and you gradually get them through that. Yeah. And then eventually, the next semester, now you start putting them with those tougher guys. Yeah. Now they're ready to do that. So my thing is you have to gradually get them mentally tougher. Okay. And, I have a system called density method, which basically is about that. You've got to small increments of high intensity with enough optimal break so that you can again hit those optimal reps over and over again.
Okay.
And it's a way to get them through it. Same with running hills, running stairs. Like if you're running stairs, it's tough to run stairs. Well, you sprint to the top, then you walk down. You sprint to the top, you walk down. And when they get used to doing these things over and over again, they'll develop that mental toughness.
Okay.
But they need to have that gradual increase of adversity.
Okay.
You don't want to throw them to the wolves right away.
Yeah.
Now, some people do. They believe, they want to get rid of kids, or they want to find out how tough they are, or things like that. I'm more of a teacher. I want to get them there. Yeah. But my path is to get them there gradually.
Okay. So you're kind of microdosing adversity in specific situations, right? That's kind of
absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that makes the most sense to me.
Well, what happens is then they want to come back.
Yeah, that's big, right? That's huge.
They can handle that, and then we'll add more and more stress, and they want to come back. It's kind of like if you start working with somebody that's not exercised in a while, and I would rather have them for 10 minutes, not be sore, do this for 3 or 4 weeks, come in every day, they feel better, they start, and then I can gradually start increasing the adversity to get the results that I'm looking for. Yeah. But at first, you've got to get them there. That's that adaptation phase.
Definitely.
How do I get them to adapt? I've got to get them there. You don't come back after 4 weeks, 8-week layoff. Bam, and just hammer them. You've got to adapt to that.
For sure.
Gradually get them there. Now, I know a lot of sport coaches want us to just pound them. But we have found it's better, or at least I found it better, to gradually get to that position.
No, that makes sense to me, and that makes sense off the literature and all the stuff we've learned, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to get your take on it. But last couple questions here. I know we're getting kind of close on time. So are you working on any projects now, or what should people look out for you or from you in the near future?
Well, right now I probably will be the director of the Olympic sports here at UT-Chattanooga. Okay. I'm working on a website. It's called Density Method. Okay. It's not up yet. But it's going to be along the same lines that we're talking about here. Yeah. It's the big thing for me is to try to help coaches, no matter what sport, to have a system. Okay. You need to have a system from top to bottom, whether it's your athletic trainers, your sports performance coaches, how you train and how you periodize and stuff. But you need to come up with a philosophy and principles and tactics and strategies of how you're doing things. Definitely. And I'm trying to help a lot of different coaches in that area. Okay. That's what we're doing.
No, I'm excited. Let me know when that comes out, and we can put the links up.
I will. We're working on it right now.
Good. Last question. All right. So if people want to reach out to you, if they want to follow you, if they want to learn from you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can contact me at Ethan Reeve at UTC.edu.
Perfect.
You can do it that way.
Perfect.
And they can contact you, and you can give them my number.
Okay, fair enough.
Either way.
Yeah. Awesome, Coach. Well,
look, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You have coaches that want help or want some experience. I've done this a long time. Yeah. And they might have a question that they're having a problem with. Man, I think we need to help these coaches.
Definitely.
And Juan, you're going to be in this situation sometime too, where you're maybe a little bit older. Yeah. And they're going to come to you, and I think it's important to help these high school coaches, these middle school coaches, folks that are with the military or whatever. Anything they have, and they need questions answered. Man, offer yourself to them.
That's fantastic.
Because when you help a coach, you help thousands of athletes.
Exactly.
You help thousands of them. So you can affect it even more. So if you get a good strength coach out there affecting thousands of kids, you have been part of that in that help.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about the ripple effect, right? The level of influence that you can have.
Absolutely.
That's huge. Awesome. Well, that's kind of all I got. I appreciate your time, Coach. I look forward to connecting with you again soon. So once again, thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Juan.
Appreciate it. And there you have it, guys. We've covered the state of our profession, the importance of a training philosophy, Ethan's approach to building better athletes and how that ties to sport specificity and building relationships with coaches. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, and share on whatever platform you're listening on so we can help get this thing off the ground and get the information out there for people that need and want to hear it. Once again, this is Juan Perez on the Gamut of Performance podcast. Thanks for listening.